Now, tell me about your day. Now, I happened to notice this morning your first story was online at 7:40. The next one was at 8:04. Are you in the office at that time, or are these things being published automatically or remotely?
No, unfortunately, I'm in the office at 7 o'clock in the mornings. Purely to get the online stuff up by about 9 o'clock, so we've got a set of news stories on there. So the thinking being that people will, kind of log in about 9, and hopefully they'll do that every morning if they notice that there are news stories up there every day to go and see. 7 o'clock basically because that's the time when, if there are company results to report on, they file at 7 o'clock as well. So, and that's the thing about being online, is that we're competing with other news outlets, not just B2B then as well, because if you wanted to know the results of Punch Taverns, you could go to Reuters, or hopefully Morning Advertising would be coming up in Google that morning as well. So we're hoping to kind of get people in there and say, look, we're the industry experts, come and read the results on our website.
So that's your start of your day. By 9 o'clock there are stories up there. I think there's you plus a web reporter, is that right?
That's right, yeah, we've got a web reporter there as well. So yeah, by about 9 o'clock the guys from the magazine will come in, and they also write stuff for the web, but their prime focus will be on the weekly magazine. So Monday to Tuesday is Tuesday's our press day, so kind of latter half of the week probably they'll be writing a few more stories for the website as well. But 9 o'clock, then it's forum checking time, and publicans, kind of because of their working day, a lot of the forum activity will take place kind of between 10 in the evening and kind of 1 in the morning. You can imagine kind of finishing up and then going and checking and commenting on stuff. And as I say, it can get quite lively, and there are a lot of issues out there where people can get upset. So it's a good thorough check through of the forums for any kind of possible dodgy stuff on there, shall we say.
Are there story leads in those forums?
Absolutely, yeah. We do get stories from the forums quite often as well, and little tip-offs as well. So they're very handy to have. I mean, sometimes there can be a pain when people just won't desist from posting things that you wouldn't rather have on your website, but and the kind of personal spats. But see myself as a referee in there as well. I have to wade in sometimes and do these things. But yeah, we get and they're off diary stories as well that we get through there. It's what one guy has seen happening in his pub. Maybe it's the supplier hasn't turned up, and it might be a tip off that maybe they're in financial difficulty. Things like that we've had in the past as well. So yeah, it's a great lead for stories and instant feedback to your own stories, and people picking up on things that we can take a lot of those comments sometimes and use them as a page in the magazine to kind of temperature test on what's going on in the industry. But then it's kind of having a search for the news wires and kind of local paper pub stories. So often a lot of our leads come from there as well, because pub stories are often popular with local papers, but whereas their angle might be something, we can find something a lot more interesting that will interest our readers. It might be a pub going into cooperative ownership, or pub closing down, and we can go behind and find out why that pub's closed down. Is the rent too high? Was it did he get the dodgy loan or whatever, and things like this, and we can find things there as well.
So a whole range of sources. How do you keep tabs on them? Have you got sort of RSS feeds set up, or Google Alerts? Do you use that kind of thing?
Google Alerts, definitely use those. And
what, with different titles like?
So we get ones for pub, beer, alcohol, pubco, and all that kind of thing, or if there's an issue of the day, or issue that's topical at that moment. So a while ago there was an issue on whether pubs should be forced to switch to using plastic glasses, and if you set up a Google alert for plastic pint glasses or something, you'd pick up some fascinating stuff, because it may be that one police officer in a little town there where they've got 5 pubs or something has gone in and said, no, I want you to all use plastic glasses. Completely, above his authority to do so, and probably something we wouldn't have picked up on without those kind of things as well. So yeah, definitely. We do a daily newsletter that we send out between 1 and 1:30 every day, and that's got to be 10 news stories long. So basically we've got to get 10 stories on by 1 o'clock as well. So which is sometimes a challenge, and other times, we might have 15 stories on a busy day up by then. So the newsletter goes out, and then we throughout the day is also we're kind of updating Twitter and things like that as well too, and searching on Twitter for news leads as well. So we've got all that to think about as well.
Now, I've also noticed on occasion that you have quite big campaigns on the site.
Yeah.
For instance, I saw one called Fight the Hikes, which is about the increase, I think, in VAT on beer sold in pubs. And you basically give the publican a marketing toolbox, don't you? Is that so they can start campaigns, start petitions, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's I think with the online stuff, getting a campaign off the ground and giving everyone the chance to get involved is so much easier, and that's what we were trying to achieve with that campaign. It was fight the hikes against the rises in beer duty that kept on coming, and we were basically campaigning for a fairer deal for publicans, really. I mean, they just kept getting battered by these duty increases. And part of the fun bit of that campaign was a kind of ban Alistair Darling, the Chancellor, from your pub type thing. So, we had a post that you could download saying Alistair Darling barred. You put that up, and there was a signature petition sheet that people could download. Customers would fill it in, send it back to us, and then we sent it off as part of a bigger petition. We've got kind of have your photo taken and send it in for our campaign gallery and all that kind of stuff. And I just think it's a real kind of advantage to get people involved. I mean, before, when we're running campaigns in just print, it's kind of hard to gauge what response you're actually getting to the campaigns. Whereas with this, people are getting actively involved, and you can set up Facebook campaign groups and all that kind of stuff, and people can really have their say now on this. Yeah. Do you also use Facebook and Twitter? Yeah, Facebook we use where we've got campaigns going on, and Twitter we use certainly use on a daily basis. That's to push our stories out there, and also get news leads as well, which we've started to pick up quite a few stories.
So you've got a Twitter feed of your news?
We've got a Twitter feed of our news from the Morning Advertiser, and also encouraging the journalists to be on there. So I think we've got about half our staff journalists on there as well. And again, that's part of what you kind of touched on earlier, is being people within the industry and not just a byline. So yeah.
So how do things dovetail with the magazine? Obviously, the magazine is still, I guess, the central part of what you do.
Yeah, it is, and I think as with all kind of magazine website things, these things kind of took a while to sort out, really, I guess. I mean, at the start we were kind of thinking, well, we need to save everything for the magazine, and it only goes online after it's been in the magazine. Whereas now it's kind of flipped almost completely on its head. Whereas we'll break everything we can on the website, and we've taken the philosophy of, if it's news, let's get it out there. Let's be first to it and attract more people into the website. And then, as the magazine's only coming out once a week, maybe that's a chance then to take that story, either find a different angle on it, or just go completely more in depth into that article, because we figure that people are sitting there with the magazine and they've probably taken it somewhere to have a read and they've got a bit more time. Whereas on the website, they might be either in an office, or they might be running their pub and getting it on a BlackBerry or an iPhone or something and thinking, right, I must read that. But it's getting it across shortly and sharply to them. Whereas in the magazine, we take a far more in-depth approach, I think.
So breaking news principally online, analysis, detail, background in
That's
print.
exactly it, yeah.